G'day everybody, Simon here, Explosive Action, back for another DVD, Blu-ray and box set collection update. Got a bit of a stack here, so let's get into it. So it's immediately obvious that this update is not as large as previous ones, at least in terms of quantity, but there are two big box sets on the end there that we're going to go through, so that should make up for it. Only 3 DVDs, so let's get into those. These all came from Amazon during their Prime Day sale. The prices were drastically reduced on these, plus I had a little bit of a store credit, so I got these 3 DVDs for about $15, which was pretty good because they're relatively new release. Just cheap little DTV action films. The first one here we have is The Siege. Great manly looking cover there with Daniel Stuyvesant. I have no idea who he is. I would assume some kind of wrestler because that's usually what it is, but I could be wrong. Apparently he unleashes hell in strong bloody violence and injury detail. I do like our ratings advices sometimes. A friend of mine has watched this and said it was quite good. So reading from the back, when Walker, the Norwegian Hulk, Daniel Stuyvesant, Norwegian Hulk, following up his explosive debut in the action hit Last Man Down, an international assassin is compromised during a mission. His handler sent him to the reassignment center, where he will be given a new identity that'll help him disappear. As the remote compound, Walker meets Elda, E-L-D-A, a tough mercenary assassin, and her charge, Juliet, a young woman who seems very out of place in this world. Unfortunately, Juliet is a prize that human trafficker Big Deal, and that's with a capital B and a capital Deal. Wow, Big Deal. Oh, great name. Wants to reclaim her when the compound goes into overnight lockdown. An army of mercenaries break in with orders to retrieve her and kill anyone that gets in their way. This is just going to be some just straight ahead vengeance and violence and just, yeah, this should be good fun. Came out 2022, and this is a relatively new release here. Came out a couple of months ago. Saban Films, they do a lot of direct-to-video action, so yeah, we'll see how we go with The Siege. Yeah, looks fun to me. Next one, another great cover, Out of Exile, and that does not, yeah, I mean it does on the surface. I thought that we were looking at a bit of a Mad Max kind of, but like, you know, the big beard and everything. But yeah, you can sort of see it. I sort of see it in him, but nah, it's not. Anyway, Out of Exile. When you live outside the law, your time will always run out. Loving these blurbs, they're great. Recently paroled from prison, Gabriel Russell returns to work for his old crime boss, robbing banks, armoured cars with the help of his brother, an ex-ranger suffering from PTSD. His best friend saving money from each score, Gabriel plans to leave behind his life of crime forever and escape town, you know, the old plot. One last mission kind of thing, but plans danger when he reconnects with his estranged daughter and learns the crew are being investigated by a determined FBI who is hot on their trail. Adam Hampton, Ryan Merriman, and Peter Green all star in this gritty, gripping story of crime and family in the tradition of films like Den of Thieves and The Town. So we'll see how we go with this one. It certainly looks explosive on the cover, but you know, that can always be you know, the opening 5 minutes and maybe the last 5 minutes and the rest of it is family. So we're going to see how we go with this one. Also a Saban Films. Yeah, if you've seen Out of Exile, let me know. Back looks cool, got some guns and stuff. And the last one, this might be a little bit older, but at least it has some people in it that I recognize. Antonio Banderas with The Enforcer. Man, that's such a generic cover. I kind of like it. And Kate Bosworth, rightio, The Enforcer. This one's a Millennium film, so Millennium New Image. That's a name that the action fans here would recognize. Lately they've done the Olympus Falls Down films, whatever they're called, and Expendables, but back in the 90s, every second film, and early in the 2000s, every second action film, direct to DVD, Dolph Lundgren films, all kinds of good stuff, Millennium and New Image. CUDA, C-U-D-A, Miami's top mob enforcer, sacrifices it all to tear down the criminal organization he spent his whole life building up. When he discovers that his boss, Estelle, is putting a young runaway's life in grave danger, now he has one last chance to make up for his past and find redemption. How lovely. Both for himself and his family. That's that word again. Before the mob hunts him down for his betrayals. Antonio Banderas from Uncharted, the hitman's wife's bodyguard. I'm not going to watch that. Oh, that looked terrible. Is back in top form in this gritty, action-packed thriller from the hitmakers behind The Expendables, Till Death, and Angel Has Fallen. There's 3 in that series. I've only watched the first 2. I've got the last one to watch. So we'll see how we go with this one. Action-packed thriller. I always get put off a little bit. I know it's a Hollywood speak when they use the word thriller, but that's not what I understand with thriller. And I think I know a lot of you will be similar with that. A thriller is, borderline horror. It just doesn't have the gory bits. That's kind of where I go with thriller. I'm sure there's going to be thrills, but let's hope there's a lot of action from Antonio Banderas and Kate Bosworth in The Enforcer. They're the DVDs. Continuing on with some manly action, we're into Blu-ray territory now. I got some more Steven Seagal. You all love him, I love him. It's old Steve. Good old Steve and his slap foo. For some reason, I ended up upgrading a lot of his films. I had all these films. I had all the popular, bigger ones on Blu-ray and a few other ones that are not so popular on Blu-ray that I just was lucky to get. I wasn't really intending on upgrading the rest. The DVDs were fine, and they all look nice on the shelf because they're all from Sony. So I had them all lined up. It was just a nice little thing. But I think I mentioned the last update, somebody on eBay dumped I bought 9 or 10, I can't even remember. I filled out a lot of my Seagal Blu-rays from a seller on eBay for very cheap prices. I'm talking sort of like $7-8 each. And that just made me want to finish them off. And so for the moment, I kind of have these next 3, as far as I'm aware, finalize the available films on Blu-ray for Steven Seagal. So relatively new releases here too. These are all from the fatherland. These are from Germany. This is The Patriot. I think this was the first film of his that was meant to be theatrical, and at the last minute went direct to DVD. This was sort of like that 99-2000 period, as they've got a date on the back. It's all in German, of course, but it doesn't have a date on the back. The Patriot, this one I really quite enjoyed. So old Steve in this one, this is when he starts going particularly weird. Like, he's got that, what was the one that he directed himself? I can't remember the name. I've forgotten the name. The one that he directed himself on the oil refinery, that one. It has those vibes in this one where he's got that Native American sort of heritage, and he's walking around in silk kimono. It's a weird look he's got going on there. He does herbal medicine to counteract the white man's medicine that doesn't work and all that kind of thing. But he also works for the CDC. So, germ control and all that kind of stuff. And anyway, so these patriots, your old boys, essentially your rednecks, have unleashed this germ plague in town. They accidentally caught it themselves, because they're stupid rednecks. And anyway, so this plague goes through town that's killing people. And old Steve is caught in both a kind of a Die Hard scenario where lots of people are being held hostage by these people, but also he's trying to cure the plague. So it's actually kind of fun. It sounds ridiculous, but I quite enjoy this one, The Patriot. I can't read you from the back. I've basically read enough. There's some photos. Nice, solid Blu-ray. So if you are a fan of this one, this German release is fine. It looks really good. It's in 235:1 scope. It's got English in 5.1 and 2.0. As well as the German options, and it's a proper Blu-ray, so really good. The only problem with this one is it doesn't have the reversible cover, so you are stuck with the ratings logo printed. But good film. I like that one. This one's a bit later down. We're well and truly into direct-to-video territory, and he's knocked out a few stinkers. This was a good redemption film, and I think a lot of direct-to-video action film fans rate this one quite highly. Urban Justice, also called Renegade Justice. This one's just good fun. I think it's his son, I think it was his son, gets from memory gets caught up in drugs or is hurt or murdered. I can't remember exactly. I can't read you back because it's German. But anyway, old Seagal's on a revenge trip, and he's just working his way through drug lords and pimps throughout the town and beating the ever-laughing. It's just piss. He's just destroying them. He's just beating them up and throwing lines at them the whole time. This is when he really gets his... Well, he's no longer Native American. He's trying to be kind of African American, and he's just throwing sort of dialogue at these people that, oh, motherfucker, all that kind of stuff. It's one of the first times he's really started doing that in these films. Bit of Danny Trejo, I forgot he was in this one. But this one's good fun. Eddie Griffin. It's to the point. It doesn't get bogged down in silly exposition. It's just him beating people up and progressing through until he gets to the final boss. That's this one. So it's totally good fun. Some photos there on the back. Standard Seagal pose. Got his pistol out. And yeah, it's all in German. I can't read any more on there, but another one that looks good. It's proper HD in 178:1. Has English 5.1 DTS. And yeah, there you go. Urban Justice. And this one does have the reversible thing. You can get rid of its uncut version and has the logo there on the back. So yeah, nice good one there. It even has down the bottom tiny writing, Renegade Justice. Absolutely tiny little writing. Urban Justice, good one. And this one's not so great. It's all right. It's definitely middle of the road. It's, middle of the road to lower, whatever. It's all right. Today You Die. I got this one off eBay from a seller in Germany, but it was really cheap. And yeah, it's a really bad cover on this one. I can't remember a great deal about Today You Die. I've only watched the DVD once, and now I've got the Blu-ray. This is another Millennium Films new image, though. So I cannot remember too much about it. Who do we have in this one? We have, obviously, old man Steven Seagal and Treach. That's who this guy is. So we're at rappers in film territory again here. There you go. I think it was okay, though. I can't recall too much about it, unfortunately. Has been some time since I watched it, and I cannot read you anything from the back. But trust me, it's Steven Seagal, so you know what you're getting. It's in 185:1, has English DTS 5.1, a making of, apparently. Now that could be in German. You have no idea until I pop it in. So there you go. Today You Die also has the vendor cover, reversible cover. Get rid of the logo, even though it's not particularly great cover anyway. There you go. Today You Die, and that's some Seagal. Now we have some Dolph Lundgren. I don't know I said that in German because he's Swedish, but anyway, Dolph Lundgren, Come Out Fighting. This is his latest one, and again with the logo I cannot reverse. So this is one, he's done a few war films where he plays like grizzled sergeant or general or whatever, or captain. I quite like him in those roles. The films aren't always brilliant. War Pigs was one he was in. I like it, but I probably liked it more than I needed to, just because I like war films, and I like modern war films that are done on the cheap, but have a lot of that they try. I like it when they try. And I don't know, I've not read anything particularly good on this one, and you can already see on the cover here, you've got Michael J. White, but you've got Dolph at the back, and you've got whoever that is at the front, so clearly he's going to be leading man. We will find out. This guy will probably be co-leading man, but yeah, I don't know who that is, and again, it's in German. See if I make out any of it. It's the Western Front, 1944. US pilot Ross. Don't know who that could be. And then it's a bunch of German. Panzer Battalion. That's good. I always like that. Tyrese Gibson. That might be this bloke because it's from Fast and Furious. Michael J. White. Yeah, and the rest, I have no idea what's going on. But it's the latest Dolph, so I bought it. That's all I need to know. It is only rated 12. So, I mean, that generally means you're going to get sort of, simulated war footage, person standing and then they're not standing, and maybe some explosions, but you're not going to have a knife to their head and blood gushing out. So, that's funny because a 12 out here is like, I guess it's PG. I guess that's PG, so it would be essentially, like I just went and saw a Pixar film with the kid, that was PG. Hopefully it's not going to be that level of PG in this one. But anyway, it is the latest one from Dolph. He has another one coming out called, I think it's called Last Man or Best Man or something like that, which looks interesting. That's out pretty much today or tomorrow in Germany. There is an Australian DVD that's already out, but must get a Blu-ray because it's Dolph. So there you go. Come Out Fighting. If you've seen this one, let me know what you think of it. This next one, I'm pretty sure it missed my last update. I did scan through it to make sure I hadn't talked about it. I think I just missed it by like one day, but if I did already talk about it, well, you're going to listen to me talk about it again because I friggin' love this movie and I'm very happy it has a release. But I don't think I did talk about it. This is Kamikaze, which is a French film, not directed by, but presented by and produced by Luc Besson, who did Fifth Element and so many other films. But he did this one with director Didier Grosset in like 1986. And I saw this in a fairly dodgy version, 15 years ago, maybe a little less, maybe like 12 years ago. And I absolutely loved it. and there was no legitimate English friendly release until this. This is the first time since probably VHS days, and I don't know, being a foreign film, I don't know what VHS options there were that were in English. They might have been Englishly, did I say that? They might have been dubbed or something horrible, I don't know. I'd be curious if you've seen this film before, what the English options were when you saw it. But we do finally now have, thanks to Kino, this wonderful, wonderful edition. So this film, I'll read from the back in a second, but I just love everything about this one. It is a scientist who's a bit crazy, gets made redundant from his job, and takes it out on the world by building a device that can shoot people through his television. So he has this thing that he creates in his lab that, when fired at his TV, kills whoever is on the other end. So he uses it to knock off news reporters and just people he doesn't like. And it's great. It's great. It really is. And it becomes a bit of a cat and mouse thing, because there is the detective who is in charge of the case, who has to try and convince people that, yes, it is somebody that's able to shoot through their television. He has to get past that "you're just a crazy person" part, because it keeps happening over and over again, and they have to try and work out how it's happening, where it's coming from, and then catch the person. So yeah, really good fun. I'll read from the back here. From co-writer / producer Luc Besson, La Femme Nikita, Leon the Professional, Fifth Element, comes the sharp and sumptuous sci-fi comedy thriller. It's very black comedy, is how I put this. It's got science fiction because it's not possible, but it's very black comedy. Kamikaze. Mikel Galabru from Subway, which is also a Luc Besson, I think, is Albert. He's old, bored, batty, and unemployed, but brilliant with computers. Albert embarks on a mission to get rid of the people he hates most, the televised kind. Invents a way to kill TV announcers on air from the comfort of his own home. Police are baffled, but Richard Boringer, the cook, the thief, the wife, and her lover, as Inspector Romain Pascoe, dedicates himself to the chase. Also starring Dominique Lavenant from Roberto Benigni's The Monster, the cult 80s classic Kamikaze bursts with slick widescreen visuals by cinematographer Jean-François Robin from La Braque. Excuse my bad French. And it is, like, this thing looks amazing. And the opening scenes, which are just going down a corridor, are so wide. It's a wonderful looking film. And pulsing musical soundscapes by composer Eric Serra, who did Goldeneye. And that's very much, your sort of ambient kind of electronic stuff. It really suits it. Complementing the explosive satire on couch potato culture. Yeah. Really good. Has an audio commentary by film historian Etienne Bon Mulia. A interview with director Didier Grosset. And what's really interesting, this one, Objective Kamikaze, a documentary that I only watched about half of it, but I'm pretty sure that was a documentary made back then. It's all the footage and it's just interviews was just old. They're just from the 80s. So yeah, I think that's an archive documentary and a theatrical trailer. So yeah, really good. Comes with a slip, just the same thing. So not particularly essential, but yeah, highly recommended if you like 80s weird sci-fi themed oddball black comedies. And French films, because it's very French. Lots of baguette eating in this. I'm not even kidding, there's baguettes. Kamikaze, check it out. Alright, going into some Mondo Macabro, we have the only one I picked up from the last lot that was of interest to me. I'm not a completist with labels. That ship has sailed. There's too many things, and I don't have that shelf space. I just get what I want, which I think is how you should approach most things. Night of the Executioner, a bit of a Paul Naschy later one from 92, isn't it? 1992. Never seen, and I think it's quite a rare, and there's not even a reverse cover, which is unusual for their red covered things, because that cover's not particularly exciting, but maybe there's just no poster art. I don't know. Brief in the back here, Night of the Executioner, Spain, 1992. It's shot in 1:33:1, so there you go. I wonder if it's a TV movie. Dr. Hugo Arans, Paul Naschy, is commemorating his 50th birthday with his wife and daughter. As the celebrations reach their height, the family are terrorized by a gang of violent street thugs who have broken into their home. Initially, the gang are after jewels and cash. Once they have their helpless victims tied up and defenseless, their thoughts turn to violence. They rape Arans' wife and daughter, and then, annoyed by the doctor's protest, cut out his tongue and leave him for dead. Iran survives the attack and recovers after a day stay in hospital. Abandoning his medical practice, he seeks vengeance on the men and women who destroyed his life. He embarks on a strenuous course of physical training involving knives, guns, and punishing bouts of weightlifting. Finally, he is ready to go in pursuit of his prey. To track them down, he must enter the sleazy underworld, which potential victims inhabit. In the process, Dr. Arantz begins to learn much, not only about his targets, but about himself. So, yeah, we got Spanish Death Wish here. You need a bit of Charles Bronson, but we have some Paul Naschy. I need to check this one out pretty soon, I think, because that reads incredibly well. Paul Naschy's last complete film as writer, director, actor. Shocking and thrilling ride into the dark underbelly of the city, and a tribute to its star's ability to craft exciting, thought-provoking entertainment. Worldwide Blu-ray premiere. This sounds really good. 4K transfer from the NEG, audio commentary from the Naschy cast, Rod Barnett and Troy Ginn. It must be a podcast. Interview with Sergio Molina, interview with actor Pepe Ruiz, interview with actor Manuel Zazo, 16-page colour booklet by the ever-productive Troy Howarth. Does many things, so here's a booklet. There you go. There's stuff on other films. Oh, more Naschy things there. But yeah, I'm definitely not seeing any other artwork that may have been useful for this. So that's interesting. And the fact that it was shot in television format. Yeah, very interesting. Perhaps it was a TV film. Night of the Executioner. Looking forward to this one. Next up, and this is going to be good fun. I might chuck this one on tonight. This is Invaders from Mars. Some classic science fiction. The last time I watched this was on a public domain print, because I think that's pretty much all that's been circulating. Various DVDs of various public domain prints that are all been a bit crap. This looks stunning. I've only managed to see the screenshots on Blu-ray.com's review. And the screenshots look amazing. And I mean, they gave it a 5 out of 5 for visuals. So, you know, there you go. Invaders from Mars. This is 1953, isn't it? Yeah, 1953. In the early 50s, Cold War tensions and the burgeoning space race. Remember, 53. We haven't even launched a rocket yet. We haven't thought about the moon. We haven't done a rocket yet. Burgeoning space race created a heady mix of paranoia and unbridled creativity of filmmakers speculated as to the marvels and horrors that lay beyond the stars. Among these leading the charge, William Cameron Menzies, who did Things to Come. Invaders from Mars terrified audiences upon its release in 1953 with its chilling vision of an insidious alien attack on small-town America. Amazing. I won't read for the rest of that. There's quite a lot in here, but inspired filmmakers as wide-ranging as Don Cascaleri, Brad Bird, John Carpenter, The Thing, obviously. Restored for its 70th anniversary. 70th! Oh, this trend-setting atom-age classic unleashes its spine-tingling terror on a whole new generation. 4K presentation from Ignite Films. Now, is Ignite a brand new company? Because I don't recall anything from them before. And I also believe that this same print is going to hit a UK release from Arrow. So there's options. But is this... doesn't have a... not that it matters to me, but it doesn't have a region code written on the back here. So it could be region-free. Whatever. It is an American release, 4K restoration from the OCN, and Master Positives, restored 4K original trailer, and a newly commissioned trailer. This is something I've been enjoying seeing, like Vinegar Syndrome, for example, and Severin. We're really good at cutting new trailers from footage and making them just a bit more saleable sometimes. I quite enjoy a lot of the modern trailers, particularly Severin's ones. They do good work when there's sometimes not even trailers, or the trailers are a bit boring. They make them action and horror packed. They're great. Interviews, featurettes, introduction at the TCM Festival in 2022, when this, I think it had a theatrical presentation first, which is good. Before and after clips of restoration. Now that's going to be very interesting to check out, because that one I had, public domain DVDs, just crapola is what it was. Alternative ending and extended planetarium scene, very nice. Gallery with press book, blah blah, and a 20-page booklet, which is in here. Now, also, if you order direct from them, you can get it with a slipcase. The slip was nice, but it was much easier for me to just get it from one of my local guys, and then it's also on Amazon. And you know, the slip was the same cover, so whatever. There you go. Lots of info here, lots of good restoration process stuff. That's going to be quite interesting to read. And there's also, for those that want it, there's a 4K UHD edition. So there you go, Invaders from Mars. Really, really good to get all these 50s classics now. Shout Factory did quite a lot of them, and yeah, it's good to keep getting more of these things. So awesome. Next up, we have a Vinegar Syndrome partner release. I think it's Deaf Crocodile is the name of the company. I think it is Deaf Crocodile. The Tale of Tsar Sultan, which is the third film that Deaf Crocodile have released from director, and I've got to look it up, Alexander Patushko, and the previous ones they put out were Ilya Muromets, which I've talked about, and Sampo, which I've probably showed. But there you go, Tale of Tsar Sultan. And I really enjoyed Ilya Muromets. It was a Russian film. They're filmed in 1967. The other ones I think would have been early 60s. But they're just these big epic films, all about traditional Mother Russia from 1,000 years prior, and all the fantasy versions of Mother Russia. So you get, I was reading on here, carved wooden lions that shed tears, peasants in pagan rituals dancing in the snow, treacherous faces of conspirators bathed in red candle glow like the witches in Macbeth. And this is his second to last feature, so perhaps we're going to get a fourth film from Deaf Crocodile. But based on the famous fairy tale in verse, The Tale of Tsar Sultan is one of director Alexander Patushko's most sublime creations, ravishingly beautiful fantasy about love, magic, betrayal, and abandoned family. Driven from his Russian court by her sister's scheming, the young Tsarina is thrown into the sea in a cask with her infant son. That's a bit savage. Surviving the storm-tossed voyage, the mother and her now magically adult son land on a remote island where he falls in love with a swan princess, there she is, in human form, and longs for a reunion with his estranged father, Tsar Sultan. So there you go. I'm looking forward to checking this one out. I haven't actually put on Sampo yet, so I should probably just chuck them both on. 2K restoration, a new hour-long video interview with legendary visual effects artist and historian Robert Sotak, who was the visual effects person for Aliens and T2. Okay, that's an interesting connection. He's a film historian and did the visual effects for Terminator 2. Interesting. I wonder if he was inspired by these films. That is going to be a video interview I'm going to check out, and that's very interesting. On the director and the history of Soviet Fantastica filmmaking, moderated by Denis Bartok of Deaf Crocodile. Oh, that's like a Q&A kind of thing. That's interesting. I'm going to check that out. New commentary track, new essay by film historian, Blu-ray authoring, blah blah, new art, and yeah, nice booklets as well. There you go. I do like the watercolor art they've used on this. It's very text heavy. Wow, that is an essay. There are no images in that one, and yeah, it's just very nice looking release. So there you go. The Tale of Tsar Sultan. Very keen to check this one out, and nice heavy slipcase. So yeah, goes well obviously with the previous twos, Sampo and Ilya Muromets. So there you go, The Tale of Tsar Sultan. Next up, I'm super excited that this is a thing, because it means if this is a thing, others from this director could potentially be a thing, and oh geez, I really hope that's the case. We have either the very first or the second film, incredibly early David A. Pryor film, Killzone, put out by MVD. And unlike some previous David Pryor films, particularly Deadly Prey, which came out through was it Slasher Film, which came with the apology saying, sourced from a video master, not great, we're sorry. This is a proper remaster. They've got the negatives. Wonderful, wonderful. That's the back of it. I love the what Killzone or MVD do with this. Like, that's obviously not torn. They're not real stickers. That's just the artwork. And if you don't like that, it's all good, because you can have it without underneath. But I think it's a bit of a fun novelty. Video store memories there. The savagery of the deer hunter, the brutality of First Blood, the unbridled power of Rambo come together to create the most intense film yet about the effects of Vietnam War. Killzone! Colonel Crawford, David Campbell from Killer Workout, the sadistic commander of an advanced military training center known as Scare Camp, has created his scare cam, has created his most grueling, realistic exercise imaginable. To him, it is a brilliant. To his men, it is deadly. To Vietnam War veteran Jackson McKenna, Fritz Matthews from Deadly Prey, it becomes all too real. His ability to distinguish between flashbacks and the ongoing exercise slowly fades. Driven by emotional terror, McKenna believes he must kill to survive. He escapes the simulated prison camp and begins his reign of terror, killing the unsuspecting residents of a nearby town. It's up to Colonel Crawford to stop him in this action-packed adventure from the writer-director David A. Prey. Very exciting that this is a thing that exists now in a proper... I mean, it's in 178:1 aspect ratio, so, widescreen David Pryor is... I mean, we had Raw Nerve from one of the VS partner labels, and then this, and that's... And obviously some of the very new modern films he did, like Deadliest Prey. But the other stuff has had a widescreen, let alone a remastered release, so very exciting. High definition 1080p presentation of the main feature in 178:1 aspect ratio, scanned and restored in 4K in 2023 from a 35mm interpositive. I hope in those piles of interpositives there's Deadly Prey and there's all the other glorious films that David did. Audio English LCPM 2.0 uncompressed stereo, very nice. Optional English subtitles. New audio commentary plus optional video commentary with producer and co-writer Jack Marino, moderated by Serial at Midnight host Heath Holland. New The Making of Killzone featuring an interview with co-writer and producer Jack Marino, moderated by filmmaker and producer Steve Latshaw. Goes for 36 minutes, that one. Killzone Vestron video VHS version. That's a novelty. It's presented in 133:1. So that's the entire film, but the VHS version. That's a nice little fun thing to chuck on there. Photo gallery optional theatrical trailer, restored in HD, goes for 3 minutes, and a 2-sided artwork collectible mini poster. I'm not entirely sure if I had yet realised this had a second artwork. Let's have a look. Ooh, indeed it does, but it does not have the spine name, so that would kind of piss me off. But there you go. There's the disc, which made it kind of look like the inside of a VHS tape there, which is very neat. Basic writing on it. There's the poster. I'll show you the art underneath. So yeah, it's just the poster. But yeah, I wouldn't call that reversible because it doesn't have the spine. But there you go. It's nice artwork. Just photos from the film. It doesn't have the name, so yeah, can't really put it on the shelf that way. So there you go. Killzone, the very first or possibly second film. Didn't even mention Ted Pryor on the back. Why are they not, like, he's right there, but the back doesn't mention Ted, which is a bit silly. I mean, that's Ted right there at the front. But anyway, yeah, Killzone, they are the perfect killing machine. I had the old CBS Fox VHS. It went moldy and died, so very happy. Killzone. Next up, 88 Films. Yeah, happy to upgrade this one from the old Hong Kong DVD. I think it was a Media Asia release, I think. Magic Cop. Very nice release from 88 Films. I'm going to talk about the release itself, first of all, because 88 Films have upped their game, at least on this release. So, firstly, this is a thinner Region A style case. They've gone for the slim. But this slip is like a VS one. It's super thick. Like, this is proper card, not their sort of usual thin stuff. So, much nicer. It's got like a, what do you call it? Almost like a velvety kind of edge to it. Yeah, it is a nicer presentation, but enough about that. We'll read about the back here. Magic Cop. After seeing off hopping corpses in Mr. Vampire, the great Lam Ching Ying from Enter the Dragon and Eastern Condors faces a new supernatural challenge. Someone is using the living dead to smuggle drugs into modern-day Hong Kong, and only Lam's officer Feng, policeman and Taoist master, he's always a Taoist master, when is he not a Taoist master, can stop them, proving the power of traditional Chinese magic in the process. Mixing comedy, action, and esoteric lore, Magic Cop sees the incomparable Lam at his brilliant best. 88 Films are proud to present this gorgeously restored treat from the golden age of Hong Kong cinema. We really are being treated nicely in the last sort of 3-4 years, from 88, Eureka, Arrow, even on just Asian cinema in general. Like, we're getting so many good things now. Limited slipcase, which is very nice. Double-sided fold-out poster, HD presentation, 185:1, DTS 2.0, mono Cantonese audio, the original audio stream, so that's good. Master Audio Cantonese home video mix. So that's interesting. They maybe that kind of thing usually can mean different sound effects or musical scores, so that's interesting. And then you got 5.1 version in English dub and a 2.0 version English dub. Commentary with film experts Frank Zheng and Mark Walko. Taiwanese cut with alternative score in standard definition. A Taiwanese cut. So that's a whole different cut of the film, but it's in standard def. Interview with Tung Wei, image gallery, trailer, reversible cover, new artwork by Sean Longmore. I quite like the new artwork in this one, but yeah, this is the original artwork, which is also really cool. So I've already flipped that. And yeah, in here we get the disc and poster, which is just of the new artwork. And yeah, Magic Cop. So this is a fun one, recommend. And really happy to have this upgrade. So yeah, good stuff from 88 Films. And I hope they do continue this slimmer case with better slipcovers. It's just nice, it's more premium. Very nice. And the last one we're going to take a look at here. And wow. I mean, 5 years ago I would have gone, that's never happening. In fact, I think it was maybe 6 or so years ago that I bought the one and only DVD of this film, which cost me quite an arm and a leg. It was a triple figure price, and that was a good price. We are talking about Blonde Fury, also known as Lady Reporter. This is like the second only proper release it's ever had, and like, this is ridiculous. Golden Age. It just I cannot believe we're getting these things now. All the Cynthia Rothrock stuff's coming out, and it's coming out in amazing Blu-rays from various companies. Vinegar Syndrome's done a bunch. Eureka. It's just, yeah, amazing. And it's another one too that doesn't have much in the way of artwork. Like this slip and the cover underneath, that's all you got. There's not much out there, or at least if there is, they didn't consider it worth doing. But yeah, Cynthia Rothrock, Lady Reporter. Cynthia Rothrock's very first leading role was also the first and to this day only time a Western actress has led billing in a Hong Kong film. Rothrock plays Cindy, the titular female reporter set to investigate an unscrupulous newspaper editor, Ronnie Yu. Teaming up with Elizabeth Lee, Long Arm on the Law Part 3, the two go up against a series of opponents played by some of the greatest bad guy actors in 80s cinema, including Billy Chow, Fist of Legend, Jeff Falcon, Outlaw Brothers, and Vincent Lin from Tiger Cage. Mang Hoi handles directing duties, but much like Yes Madam, this was a collaborative effort between Mang Hoi and Corey Yuan. Just as in the film results are magnificent, Mang Hoi's graceful and acrobatic choreography fusing perfectly with Corey Yuan's hard-hitting style. The star here is Cynthia Rothrock, and this film deservedly secures her position as one of the top action stars of her era. Eureka Classics proud to present Lady Reporter UK debut Blu-ray on brand new 2K restoration. So don't know if they're doing a US release, but just get it, even though it says Region B on the back here. Yeah, you need to get this. It's a great film. Cynthia's early stuff from Hong Kong is just balls to the wall, great fun. HD presentation of the theatrical cut and international export cut from brand new 2K restorations. I wonder what the differences are there. I'm not too familiar. The old DVD I had was just one of them, and it was not too sure which one. Original Cantonese mono audio in theatrical cut, original classic English dub in the export cut, optional English subs, newly translated. See, that's an interesting thing about the dubs, is because she's doing Hong Kong films. You're either going to watch it in English and get her in English, hopefully her in English, or you're going to watch it in Cantonese and she is dubbed. So, you've got to pick your battles. Who do you want dubbed? And brand new feature-length audio commentary by Asian film expert Frank Zheng, actor and martial artist Vincent Lin on the theatrical cut. Brand new feature-length audio commentary by action cinema experts Mike Leader, I think does quite a lot of them for Eureka, and Arn Venema on the export cut. Brand new select scene commentary with actress and martial arts movie icon Cynthia Rothrock. Yes! Brand new interview with Cynthia Rothrock and brand new interview with Mang Hoi. Oh, that's nice. That's good to hear. I'll check out his interview. So there you go. Very, very happy to get this one. Nice release. You get some lobby cards, which is always a bit of fun. I do prefer these than posters because I don't have room to hang up any posters, but I can have a nice look at the lobby cards. And we got a booklet in here. Take a look at. There you go. I mean, that could have been an alternate cover. That's an old VHS one. They could have made that the reverse. Missed opportunity there. But otherwise, yeah, awesome stuff here, and it's got the old Golden Harvest logo there on the back. So really nice, very happy. Golden Age, Golden Harvest, and yeah, Cynthia Rothrock. Wonderful release. As I put it back together, of Lady Reporter, The Blonde Fury. On to the final 2 items now, but they're nice big box sets. So, digging into these. I don't think anybody was expecting Shout Factory to be the next person or next label to enter the Shaw Brothers market. I mean, we had 88 Films do do quite a lot, but I don't think Shout Factory was on anybody's bingo cards. But here they are. They did the Brave Archer box, which was very strangely a direct order only item, so I had to jump through hoops to get that. But this one's a wide release, which meant it got a little bit beaten up in shipping, but what can you do about it? This is Shaw Brothers Volume 1, Shaw Brothers Classics Volume 1. You see the nasty dent I got there, which is very disappointing, but what can you do? Otherwise, a very nice box set. And they're all, which I didn't know at the time, but they're all individual discs in here. I was kind of expecting some, it's very hard to see from the mock-up, so I was kind of expecting like a digi fold-out thing. But no, we receive individual discs. The first one here is The Jade Raksha, which is the only one I've watched so far, and I found that a very, very entertaining film. Your usual revenge kind of plot. You murdered my father, with the heroine just going on a murderous rampage, essentially killing everybody with the same surname because she doesn't quite know who was the murderer. She just knows it was a certain surname, so she just goes on a murderous rampage. And it does enter your usual Shaw Brothers. There's a little bit of a love thing going on there. There's a few other little subplots, but basically it's one of the more straightforward kind of Shaw Brothers films, and lots of good action. I mean, I'll read from the back here. Thanks in great part to Cheng Pei Pei, women in martial arts movies play a more central role in the plots, and swordswomen of the genre became some of the most charismatic figures in Hong Kong cinema. In The Jade Raksha, Cheng Pei Pei becomes a human combine harvester. Fantastic. She hacks and whacks a path through life, avenging the death of her family under the moniker The Jade Raksha. It's exactly what she does. So, very nice. The second one is The Bells of Death, a whirlwind story about a man embarking on a lifelong journey to master the sword and then find and eliminate 3 men who killed his family and abducted his sister. So, yeah, that sounds like another straight-ahead revenge kind of film. There's interviews and stuff on here. I'm not going to go through all the features and all the discs, but we do seem to get a bunch of interviews and audio commentaries and that kind of stuff, and some trailers. So I expect that for all of them. But importantly, they're nice remastered scope transfers in the Mandarin mono master audio and new subtitles that have been created for the films. So yeah, really, really nice presentations. And you get 1 disc per film, which is really nice too. So underneath you get a full version of the the poster artwork, which I would have flipped to, but yet again, they didn't put the names down the spine. So that's a little bit annoying, but it's okay. I think that's quite fine there. You get the half and half of the spine covers there. Next one we get, this one is its own release, The Assassin, which is probably the biggest film of the lot. And I did lie, I haven't watched this one, but I watched it on my old IVL release DVD of this film, The Assassin. In the same year that director, writer Chang Che and star Jimmy Wang Yu revolutionized Hong Kong kung fu cinema with one-armed swordsmen. They collaborated on this epic of Six Kingdoms era. Here, Yu was a 2-armed swordsman. They spelled that out. He was also a Wei Empire patriot. Inside the Han Empire, Han Kuei, who comes from the royal family, assumes full power and wants to eliminate a loyal officer, Yen Sui. Later, our main character is betrayed by a jealous rival and becomes a village butcher. When he meets Yen Sui, he is sent back on the road of vengeance. Xiao Xiao, the lovely and talented co-star of One-Armed Swordsman, here plays HSIA, Sai, I'm not too sure how you say that one. The love of the hero's life and the strong woman who survives to protect their child. There you go, and you get commentaries and trailers again. And yeah, just a single disc release on this one, which is nice. You get the poster art there and the disc. Very nice. Next up, we get The Thundering Sword and the Golden Swallow. Great titles there. That was a car that went past, very bumbling car. Superstar swordsman, the Thundering Sword, Cheng Pei Pei again, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, stars as the daughter of the Poison Master in a Romeo and Juliet style martial arts adventure concerning a search for the magical heaven and earth weapon in the Thundering Sword. It's the Romeo and Juliet stuff in a lot of the Hong Kong films that kind of wears me down a little bit. So I approach that hoping that it's going to be not dominant, not just, I love you and we can't be together and all that kind of stuff. Give me swords and give me beheadings is really what I'm after. It's fine. Golden Swallow, the indomitable martial arts team of director Chang Che and stunt choreographer Lu Xia Liang, continues with a compelling saga of the Golden Swallow from King Hu's Come Drink With Me, that was a good one, in this sequel of heartbreaking romance, intrigue and stunning action. That's a sequel to Come Drink With Me, so there you go. More interviews and all that kind of stuff. And again, nice presentations. And yep, again, 2 discs with reversible but not complete artwork. This one we have the Sword of Swords and Killer Dart. Killer Dart, what a great title. Sword of Swords is Jimmy Wang Yu has just exploded into the superstardom as one-armed swordsman when he's teamed with respected writer-director Chang Kang in this tale of master martial arts artists vying for the title blade, a weapon of exceptional brilliance. And with the legendary martial arts choreographers Lo Ka Leong and Tang Xia directing the action, the result is a superb, flat-out adventure of intrigue, deception, and abduction, delivering one battle after another until it culminates in an amazing all-out slaughter. Yes, I'm here for the all-out slaughters. Killer Dart, rampaging bandits are pillaging peaceful Chinese villages until the grieving Dart master, Liu Wen Lung, sets out with his student, son, and servant to avenge his murdered wife and set things right. Renowned director Ho Menghua, soon to be internationally famous for The Flying Guillotine, masterfully balances action with intrigue and romance as the path of righteousness is littered with lies and corpses. I like that. The usual kinds of commentaries and trailers and things, so another nice presentation. There we go. Killer Dart and Sword of Swords. Very good. 2 more to go. Invincible Fist and Dragon Swamp. I like a bit of Dragon Swamp. The Invincible Fist is one of the few films where godfather of Kung Fu film Chang Che headlined Lo Lei as the leading hero 3 years before Lo would become the Shaw brothers' first international starring king boxer, aka Five Fingers of Death. Here he plays a dedicated chief constable for Sang Chao village who falls in love with the blind daughter of a bandit who is wreaking havoc. Joining him in all the action and motion are award-winning actor Ku Feng and future superstar David Xiang. So that's Invincible Fist. That one sounds particularly good. And Dragon Swamp, Cheng Pei Pei, the greatest swordswoman teams with Lo Lei for this amazing fast-paced adventure of martial arts world where everyone is killing to gain the famous Jade Dragon Sword. It's always Jade. Fascinating characters like the Roaming Knight, and that's with the K Knight, and the Master of Dragon Swamp clash in this family feud, which takes place over 20 years. In addition to the spectacular fights, the special production holds an emotional wallop for the finale. Yeah, okay, we'll see what the emotional wallop is like. Again, 2 discs, Invincible Fist, Dragon Swamp. And lastly, another two-parter. We got Flying Dagger and Golden Sword. Very nice. Flying Dagger, godfather of Kung Fu film director Chang Che, he's done so many of these things, is famous for introducing the revolutionary concept of Yang Gang, which in brackets says macho martial arts movies, a macho martial arts movie. Until then, female stars, often in male swordsman roles, ruled the screen. Collaboration between him and swordswoman supreme Chang Pei Pei is exceptional indeed. Chang could hold her own with any man, freeing Chang to create the best of all possible martial art worlds. Sounds good. And the Golden Sword, last one. Lo Wei remains internationally famous for directing Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan's first major movies. Chang Pei Pei is now internationally famous for her superlative villainous role in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. But both were superstars in Hong Kong for decades prior, so any teaming of the superlative swordswoman supreme and the vaunted director, writer, actor is cause for celebration. Cao Yuan joins them as noble swordsman, and the award-winning actor Ku Feng stars as frontier terror in this evocative and effective martial arts world adventure. Very exciting, and a pretty packed set there. And in Australian dollars, it came to about just on 200, which seems a lot, but goddamn, there's a lot of films in there. So Shaw Brothers Classics Volume 1, Volume 2 is already up for pre-order. I think it comes out in August. So I don't know if there's going to be a 3 or a 4. I have no idea what their end game is here, but they are certainly... There are a lot of Shaw Brothers films to work through, and yeah, really, really nice. There's the back there. You get the little bits about each film, and yeah, nice box set. Good stuff. Shaw Brothers Classics Volume 1 from Shout Factory. Lastly, this is one that I was a little on the fence about buying, because I do have some of these already on the Shout Factory double feature discs, and they're fine. But a bit of FOMO got me on this one, because it was being reported that they were selling out, and then they started being delisted, and Arrow's site no longer has it. I'm like, I grabbed the one I could. This is the Arrow Video, what are they calling this thing? Enter the Video Store, Empire of Scream. So it's a collection of some of the more well-known titles from Empire Video, Charles Band's original company. And they've made a really nice box set here. Comes in a slip. So you take this guy off. There you go. Put that over there. And you get a top-loading, like a top-loading VCR box. Nice artwork all the way up across it. You can pick all the different films as you go and look at them there. There's one from Arena. Yeah, good fun. There's some robot jocks, robots, and the films go in sideways like that, all individual cases. Yeah, let's just take a quick look at what we get inside here. So we get the Dungeon Master. These do have new artworks, but I flipped them straight away. I was not a fan. I much prefer these poster arts. So Dungeon Master, the Overlord of Strange Beasts and Stolen Souls. I watched this one on the double feature a few years ago. Stone Giants, Evil Sorcerers, Zombie Warriors, Post-Apocalyptic Car Chasers, Supercomputers, and 80s Heavy Metal. The Dungeon Master, aka Rage War, has it all. Computer programmer Paul Bradford, that's Jeffrey Bryan from Metal Storm, and his girlfriend Gwen are sucked into a fantasy world by Mastema, played by Richard Mole, the Sword and the Sorcerer, a demonic sorcerer in search of a worthy opponent. Aided by Paul's quasi-sentient personal computer, the Excalibrate. Oh, that hurt. X-Cali BR number 8. Excalibrate. Can he and Gwen survive Mastema's deadly challenges? It's a good fun film, and all these films, they're all bloody short, 77 minutes. It's just, welcome to the film, action, explosions, aliens, monsters, and then cut. That's all of the films. New 2K restoration from the OCNs, and that's what got me as well, is I think the versions used on the Shouts were older prints. They look fine, but I am keen to see how different they are on here. High definition presentation of 3 versions of the film. US theatrical, Dungeon Master, pre-release version, Rage War, international version, also Rage War, available via seamless branching. Companies do not make much use of seamless branching. It's been available since DVD days, and I think it always falls into the too hard basket. So that's really nice to see that you can, it helps them save on the disc too. Like, just getting technical for a moment, seamless branching, you don't need 3 files of the film. You just need all the components, and the disc will put it together as you go through it. So that's nice that they're doing that. Original lossless mono audio. Very nice. Optional English subs. Commentary with Jeffrey Bryan. Moderated by film critics. I Reject Your Reality and Substitute My Own. A new interview with star Jeffrey Bryan. Theatrical trailer, alternate trailer, image gallery, reversible sleeve, which is what you're looking at here. So very nice. Yeah, that's the new artwork. I mean, it's okay. I'm just not that interested. Came with an Arrow Video sales rental service business card. And yeah, you get some cards, photo cards. And yeah, disc itself. So very nice. Nice little upgrade there of Dungeon Master. Put that there. Dolls. I had the 101 Films release of this, which was never brilliant. I know there's been many copies of Dolls kicking around. So yeah, happy to get the Arrow one. Fresh from the 1-2 punch of Reanimator and From Beyond, director Stuart Gordon takes a turn towards the fairy tale gothic in Dolls. A group of strangers seek shelter during a storm on the isolated home of Gabrielle and Hilary Hartwick, an old toy maker and his wife, played by Guy Rolfe from Mr. Sardonicus, and Hilary Mason from Don't Look Now. All is not as it seems, as the puppets and dolls fill the house have a vicious life of their own. You've all seen Dolls. And again, UK 2K restoration from 35mm IP. And what do we got? Subs, original lossless stereo and 5.1 options. Commentary by David DeCoto, Empire alumni and friend of Stuart Gordon. And commentary with director Stuart Gordon, writer Ed Nahar, archive commentaries, assembling dolls, new interviews, whole bunch of stuff, all kinds of things. Wow. And dolls. How long does this one go for? 77 minutes. Man, more cards. Is that a book? No, it's a poster. And reversible cover. But again, much prefer the original artwork for dolls. Next one. This one I never had the Blu-ray of. And I think it's quite out of print, hard to get. So good to have this one. Robot Jocks. Yeah, never had a copy. Very nice. I've always wanted to see Robot Jocks. Running for a lengthy 84 minutes. The ultimate killing machine, part man, part metal. Director of Reanimator and From Beyond delivers mega mecha mayhem in Robot Jocks as giant machines slug it out for supremacy in this post-apocalyptic sci-fi spectacular. 50 years after a nuclear holocaust, open war is no more. Surviving nations have divided into two opposing superpowers, the Market and the Confederation, who settle their disputes by sending giant machines capable of battle on land, sea, and in the air into gladiatorial combat. The colossal machines are piloted by trained champions, men and women known as Robot Jocks. I don't know why I've never seen it. I mean, it's Stuart Gordon, and it's an Empire picture. Most ambitious Empire picture movie ever made. There you go. 2K restoration, all the other good stuff again. Lossless stereo audio, commentary with Stuart Gordon. With the effects director, Paul Gentry. And what else we got on here? The Scale of Battle, David Allen and the FX of Robot Jocks, a new documentary appreciation of stop-motion animator David Allen by those that knew him, featuring contributions from visual effects practitioners Dennis Muren from Star Wars, Yancey Calzada from Evil Dead 2, Paul Gentry from Robot Jocks and The Fifth Element, and John Vincent from Freaked and Prehysteria. That should be pretty cool. I'll check that one out. A bunch more other things and sales sheets and production notes and theatrical trailers and all that kind of stuff. So there you go. More cards and poster and the alternate art on the disc. Robot Jocks. Very good. And this one, Arena, which has only had so far a DVD release. So this one was on a 4-pack, of which the only film left that needs upgrading is America 3000. So if they could get on and do America 3000, I can jettison a 4-pack of DVDs. That'd be very nice. Shout Factory, I'm sure they're going to at some point. Shout or Arrow, somebody will. Arena. Tonight, Championship Grudge Match, Man vs. Monster from the director of Eliminators and Enemy Territory. Enemy Territory is stuck on VHS and I don't know why. That film needs something. It's Man vs. Monster in Arena, the ultimate fight night event. The far future of 4038, that is far future, Steve Armstrong. But we still have somebody called Steve Armstrong in 4038, who's Paul Slatterfield from Creepshow 2. A short order cook, desperate for money, becomes the first human in 50 years to compete in an intergalactic boxing event on the far side of the universe. Can he prove that a human has what it takes to be the champion? Oh dear, oh dear. 2K restoration from the 35mm print. From a 35mm print. Okay, so not from OCNs or whatever. They just, the best they got is a print. It'll still look good. But that's interesting. Maybe that explains why we've only ever had DVDs before. I don't know. Lossless stereo, blah, blah, blah. Audio commentary with the director, not his Arena, new interview with Danny Bilson. Tactical trailers, more interviews, reversible sleeve, etc. Arena. Very nice. The custom artwork on this one was just garish. Wasn't too big a fan of that one either. But there you go. Nice. And the last one in the box, and people don't talk about this one too often. Yeah, I like it. I understand why some people don't. It's probably the lesser of the box maybe, but Cellar Dweller. I still think it's quite fun. From John Carl Buchler, I'm not too sure. Special makeups artist, makeup effects artist of countless horror, fantasy, science fiction films, director of Troll, Friday the 13th, Part 7, comes Cellar Dweller. Colin Childress, Jeffrey Combs, Reanimator, comic book artist with a penchant for the macabre, takes inspiration from an ancient tome, and dies in mysterious circumstances. Years later, the house is now an art institute run by Mrs. Briggs, Yvonne DiCarlo from the Munsters. When the new student Whitney Taylor, Deborah Mulaney from Eureka arrives, and occupies the cellar that used to be in Childress's studio, an ancient evil is accidentally unleashed. From memory, Coombs is like in and out in the first 5 minutes. From memory, that might be why people are not the biggest fans of it. From memory, I don't know if he comes back at the end. Can't recall. It's been a while. But yeah, HD presentation, all the usual stuff. Featuring additional grading and picture restoration from Arrow Films. Interesting. So they didn't do a new scan. They probably got Shout's one and just clean it up a bit. But yeah, there you go. English subs, blah blah, audio commentary, more interviews and things. Yeah, all the good stuff. VHS trailer on here. That's interesting. Production notes, galleries, etc., etc., etc. So you got Cellar Dweller, and yep, more bits and bobs inside, and the alternate artwork you can flip it to. So Cellar Dweller, last film in the box, but not the last thing. A huge book, really, really big book. I love how they've done this one. Arrow Video Magazine, January 24th, 1989. Very, very cool how they've done that. Empire of Screams, own them all today. This will be fun to go through. Yeah, very picture heavy, I think. So there's a contents, there's so many things on here. Dungeon Master cast and crew, Dolls, Cellar Dweller, Arena, Robot Drox, Emperor of the Bees, Rise and Fall of Empire Pictures. There's a whole book with that title as well. Substituting Realities, the Unmaking of Dungeon Master, Dolls, Stuart Gordon's grown-up fairy tale with sharp teeth, Panels of Purgatory, Horror Comics, Monsters and Artistic Integrity in Cellar Dweller, Interview with John Carl Buechler, Body and Soul in Outer Space, The Making of Arena, Drop Your Jocks, I like that, These Robots Don't Need Any Disguise, and some production notes. So yeah, it's like essays, and there's the castings, nice photos, drawings, yeah, and then essays on the films, and some interviews and things. That is quite a lot to dig into there. So there you go, the Arrow Video Magazine, and it all comes in this nice box. So yeah, that is the Arrow Video box. It has that slip thing around it. It just has all the descriptions on the back. And as I keep forgetting, enter the video store. Empire of Screams is the name of this thing. Good luck finding it. If you see it, just buy it. It does seem to be gone. So yeah, if you see it somewhere, grab it. It keeps going on and off Amazon. At least the Australian one, I see it getting added, and then a day later it's gone. So there seems to be copies that still trickle in. So good luck. Good luck to you. Hope you enjoyed this update. It ended up being, as usual, quite long because I just keep babbling. If you did enjoy, please like, subscribe, check out this guy, check out this guy. See you next time.